One. Hey guys, welcome to Hot Pulp Podcast. We are back with a regular guest now, it seems, Dr. Ali Altaf from Refugee Crisis Foundation. And the reason we are back this time is I've been roped in yet again to a challenge, and it's called Miles4Smiles. Ali, what's it all about, man? Also, hit the
Yeah,
hit the
so
like button first, guys. Before Ali says anything, if you're happy Ali's back, hit the like button. If you're also unhappy, then also hit the like button. But yeah, just hit the like button.
wow.
Miles for
I feel
smiles.
like we're going to be getting a lot of likes. I'm not going to be sure which way
Yeah,
these likes are coming from.
that's how it goes.
That's fine. Yeah, so RCF, Refugee Crisis Foundation, we're doing an initiative in December called Miles4Smiles, and the reasoning behind Miles4Smiles is a lot of people don't really think about it, but actually the refugee migratory pattern, the journey, is very, very difficult. And they will often travel distances like even like 2,500 miles within the space of a couple of weeks, with very poor footwear, very poor equipment and clothing, and it's a very difficult endeavor,
Mm,
and it's hard for us to relate to how the journey goes, and the pressure you would have to be under to even consider undertaking such a journey, never mind completing it, to be so driven from your home. So what we're hoping to do is, with Refugee Crisis Foundation, part of the our ethos is providing dental care to refugees. So hence the smiles, and we're trying to raise an awareness of the journey, um, and for people to kind of get more of an understanding of what these people go through to get to the places they're applying for refugee status
yeah.
at. I think one of the statistics that really gets to me is, in terms of recorded fatalities during refugee migration, last year I believe it was about 4,000 that were recorded during during an actual transit.
Mm,
4,000 people died while trying to get somewhere. So if we can raise even a little bit of awareness of the difficulties in the journey and what these people go through, then I think that'll be a good thing. And inshallah, I'm hoping that we can try and raise some funds as well for Refugee Crisis Foundation and for the dental clinics that we're running still, even during the COVID. We're doing our best to look after the refugee population as well as we can.
yeah, the two of the guys still working, isn't it, full time, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're
Mm.
doing an amazing job. They're keeping us updated all the time. They're they're very active on WhatsApp and
Yeah,
social media. So I think I need to learn some things from these guys because any post that they do, they get like hundreds of likes. So my marketing team needs to look at them.
it's different in different countries though. Like I
Yeah.
saw this like a long time ago, um, and I think there's some of the Somali bros, some of the Somali dentists. I went like onto their page, they're getting like thousands, like
I
all the
know.
1,000 people who follow them, like the one, all like the post.
I
It's like a
know.
hundred
The
percent
engagement is
ratio.
it's crazy.
Um, so I think it's
I'd love to get that over here.
cultural as well, isn't it? So I
Yeah, that's true.
think we're more reserved in the Western hemisphere. You've got to earn the like, unfortunately.
No, that's 100% it.
So yeah,
So,
Miles for Smiles. We know a bit about RCF. Yeah, I got.
mhm.
If the guys want to know more, we've done 2 videos already,
Mhm.
about what RCF is, what they do. So you can check that out. Sorry, I'm hiccuping because I've just drank so too much tea in one gulp. Um, but yeah, you can. There's 2 videos which we've done before. One's with me, you, Khalida, and who did we bring? One of the guys from the camp,
Wha
wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, we had, Junaid
Junaid, we had
who
Junaid, and then it was me and you as well. There was a second video,
yeah.
which if the guys want to know a bit more about RCF and the stuff that's going on in the camps and stuff, that's where you can go for that information. But the Miles Smiles campaign, um, it's all about the journey, isn't it? We had that picture where there's the dotted lines and how long each bit is,
No,
through
but that's
Europe.
it. And that's only through Europe, if
Yeah,
you're considering the distances that people are going. So I think we're all, the thing is you don't have to do, if you wanna get involved, you don't have to do it as an individual project. Some people are trying to do team efforts,
yeah.
trying to get different practices involved, and you could say set a practice target. I think raising the awareness is just as important as the fundraising. I think the more the refugee crisis is talked about, the better it is really for the population as a whole.
Mm.
So I think that's definitely something that we want to get as many dentists and as many people involved as possible. So I know you've agreed to be involved. Have you thought about personal target yet, or are you going as a team target?
Well, I'm saying 100 miles, but I don't really know what that's going to entail
Yeah,
because I
that's what
don't
I
do
said.
any cardio. I don't do any.
The thing is 100 miles works out at just over 5K. It's about a 5K run a
Mm.
day. So, I mean, 5K is doable, but it's whenever I do a 5K run, I'm like, yeah, that's a good session.
I don't know if I'm
So
going to
to
run it. I might even just be walking it because my
yeah.
yeah, my fitness isn't great when it comes to the
But you can
cardiovascular.
cycle,
Yeah.
you can cycle as well. Is as long as you're doing a manual traveling of the route, you're not just going for a cruise in the car.
Got Strava on, rolling around at 6 miles
Yeah.
an hour for 2 hours.
That's it. So,
Uh,
yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting one. Um, and, the distances that we're planning to do they're minuscule
compared to
compared
yeah,
to what these refugees do. They probably cover some of this stuff, like, within a day or 2. It's,
yeah, because they'll just be going all day
yeah,
until like it gets a bit dark or whatever, and until they
yeah,
got to the point.
yeah, until they have to stop, because they don't have any other option. What can they do?
Yeah, so 100 miles is what I'm thinking. Which if it's
Mhm.
5K a day, I don't know how well. Maybe I'll start off walking, and as I get a bit fitter and the
Yeah.
shin splints calm down, then I'll maybe start doing a couple of like bit of a jog, um, and maybe an actual run towards like the 31st.
I was like, "Can we do it on a treadmill?" And they said, "No, we need to be
Yeah, that's what I
outside."
said. Like, if it's cold and raining, can I do it inside?
They're like, "No, you need to we need to understand the struggle. We can't just, sit at home, watch some TV and and do a casual couple of K."
Cardio full stop is a struggle for me. So
Yeah. I know I'm seeing all your workout videos and there's never like, the high intensity round.
well, no, no. If you're doing, I watched a video about this earlier, actually,
Yeah.
kind of off topic. If you're doing gym work, weights,
Mhm.
you shouldn't be doing high intensity interval training as well
Yeah.
because you're gonna increase the likelihood of injuries. And actually,
Yeah.
that did happen to me not a couple of weeks not a couple of weeks ago. I did the ropes and then went in
Yeah.
to do a shoulder session. I thought it's gonna warm me up.
Yeah.
I actually ended up with a small like a niggle or a tear. I don't know if it's like a big thing. It was enough to like so I should probably take a day off or a couple of. I took about a week off in the end until it settled
Mhm.
down. So actually, you're not supposed to do both. So that's my
Oh,
excuse.
interesting.
You
Does
can
that
do
mean
like
that
low
you're
intensity.
having a cardio month then?
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna fit it all in. So I'm thinking earlier on in the day I'll do the cardio, and then in the evening I will do my weights. Give myself time to recover.
Yeah, not too bad then.
So we'll see. And I've got to fit yoga in there as well because my flexibility is like close to zero.
Oh, is that a new thing you're taking up?
New thing, yeah, because of the injury, I was like, well, this I can't have this happen again. So
Oh, it puts you back a lot on your training, doesn't it?
yeah, so it's gonna be a very physical month for me, which I don't mind. I kind of need it. Get rid of some of the belly fat that's come on during lockdown. Um,
I know lockdown too. It's every time.
2.0.
But from the second, I think from Wednesday, gyms are going to be back open. I think.
Mm, yeah, is that something like that? I'm not going to a normal gym anyway, so we're gonna be
Oh,
safe and sound.
not too
um,
bad. Yeah.
yeah, so let's see how that goes. Um, how many people have signed up so far? I had a couple more people message me saying how to get involved, so hopefully I'll have a few more.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got quite a few from RCF
Yeah,
who've signed up. I think the trustees are all doing a joint one, but for some reason I've been assigned 100 miles on my own. I think I just get roped into the deep end, and then we've got a few more dentists from the Manchester area
yeah. All right,
who are gonna be
who's doing
getting
it in the
involved.
Manchester area?
Well, we've got Colada, I think, is doing it from London.
Okay, yeah.
What I can see, we've got about 50 people in
Oh,
total,
nice.
and then I'm hoping we can get a couple of orthodontists like Hisham Ali. I don't know if you chatted to him, hoping to get him involved
Sharma?
as well.
No, I don't know. Oh no,
Yeah, he's
Hisham Ali. I thought you said
yeah,
Sharma. I
yeah.
was like, I don't know who Sharma Ali is. I was like,
Yeah, and we've got quite a few students actually
Yeah,
from different
they've got
schools.
nothing to
So,
do.
well, do you know what it is? Is RCF actually we've been pretty lucky because the last little while, a lot of dental students have been coming on board. So we've
Mm.
now opened a few different branches in dental schools.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I saw that.
So we're getting a lot of more student involvement. I think that's great as well because when people start off at that age and they get involved, then it becomes more of a long-term thing as well.
Yeah,
So,
part of the life and
uh,
cycle of what you're doing.
well, that's it. That's it.
Mm.
So the more people that support the cause, the better it is, and it's really amazing that we're still managed to keep this dental clinic and still providing these emergency services even during COVID in the world's largest refugee
I
camp.
know.
So we're really hoping if we can keep building on this, then we can start branching out and try and provide to different areas because there's obviously a limit to how many people you can see in a clinic.
Mm.
So we're doing our best, and I'm hoping we can just keep going with it. Really,
Don't mind if I'm asking, what's the cost of having
yeah.
one guy run a surgery at the Kutupalong camp?
The exact figures, I think Khalida knows, but from what I can recall, we've got the two dentists, we've got the clinic and all the materials. I think it comes to about 15 to 20,000 K a year
Mm.
is what it's costing us to man and keep the clinic going.
Yeah,
Um, I'll just check with Kieran. I'm sure she'll
yeah,
message me in a minute and tell the exact figures. But from what I recall, it's in that region. Um, but obviously, this is now that we're set up. There was a much bigger investment at the
yeah,
initial,
yeah,
which was getting actually set up, getting permission, getting all the equipment, and that was quite an interesting journey
yeah.
at the minute. So I think we've got students from Plymouth, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, Bristol. There's quite a large community that we have as well. So yeah, it's all going well at the minute.
Yeah, we should definitely
Can be.
get the word out there about different different areas and regions. So hopefully people will know of RCF by the end of it. I think we're quite well known um within certainly like the Asian dental population.
Yeah,
Because
that's
we're all like we all know each other for some reason anyway. But we're definitely
yeah.
breaking into
uh,
the larger general dental awareness in the UK for sure, and abroad a little bit as well recently. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, and again, any projects that we do, I'm sure we mentioned this before, but we always have a 100% donation
Yeah,
policy. So any donations that we get, we will always put all of that donation towards the projects. Any volunteers who come with us, we always advise them they need to be self-funded. So you need to pay for your own travel and
you're
accommodation,
not paying for
and that
jollies
way,
for someone else to come and have a laugh.
exactly. So that way, we always know that any donations that people give us will be going 100% to
Yeah,
refugees
to
and
the running of the
to the people
clinics.
who need it the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's really important because there's other charities out there that have admin staff and fees and stuff.
Mhm.
Everything's volunteer run, so um, I think it's almost a little bit more worthy in some ways. So for everyone
Mhm.
watching, either get involved yourself, get donating, or even just sharing, other people's stuff, so then more
Yeah.
people see it. That's kind of your three ways of getting involved, isn't it?
Yeah, just share a post. If you share a link, do a couple miles with your family, just at home. Anything that you can do to get involved is always good, and it doesn't have to be setting a crazy target like 100 miles.
Is that a crazy?
So
I couldn't work out whether that was a crazy target or not. This is what I was
well, I
struggling to
mean,
work out.
it depends on your cardio.
Zero.
How much you walk around a day, but I guess at work, I wonder what my app's gonna tell me.
Mm.
Um, but I'll like to put it in perspective. When I was on Hajj, there was days I was hitting like 15, 20 miles a day. So if you're motivated, you can you
You
can
can
you
do
can
a
do it
bit more,
quickly,
yeah. In fact,
and you don't have to set a specific target. You might just say, right, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can and see what I get to.
yeah, I didn't know what to put down for my actual money raising this time either because it's not going to be as intense as the 24-hour podcast. Um,
Yeah,
in a one day sort of thing, but and I don't know if like we're gonna have a 30 days to keep on harping on about it and kind of irritating
yeah.
people with my stories and stuff. So I put 1,000 down for now, but I'm hoping we just blow straight past it. Um, who knows? But hopefully we'll
That's it.
get some good results out of it.
So I've just got a figure coming in. So it looks like it's costing roughly about 3,000 per quarter at the minute to keep things functioning.
Mm,
I think our patient numbers are probably a little bit lower because of the extra equipment, and I'm sure as all dentists know, it's very impossible to be at full capacity, like pre-COVID and lockdown.
yeah,
But yeah, not doing too bad.
fair enough. I mean, everyone's got to deal with the pandemic in the way, and if it's got to be safe, hasn't it? So yeah.
Mhm. But so it's been a bit interesting this week. We've had a lot of information about the pandemic and the lockdown. So it looks like we're getting quite a disparity in tiers across the country, which I think is
You mean the nonsensical tears where London's fine no matter what? Is that what you mean?
yeah. Basically, I mean, I don't get it because London has a higher R rate. It's so densely populated. They're tier two, and then us lot up north. Lancashire, I kind of get it. It's quite a high infection
Yeah,
rate, but like Manchester and stuff, I don't get it.
everyone's already had it in Manchester. We should be
Yeah.
fine. What I've not understood
So.
is like, okay, so if you've had it and you've got evidence of a positive test and you've passed 3 weeks after the
Mhm.
test, you should be able to do whatever you want after that point, right?
Well, I think it's because they don't know about the immunity, right? Um, if you've had it, are you necessarily immune?
Mm.
Because there's been some reported cases of reinfection. However, was that um, something that was due to a false positive or false negative on one of the tests?
Because yeah, it's only a 70% like false, real positive rate, isn't it, or something? So yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of it's an interesting one. But these lateral flow tests are coming in. They've been doing a lot of mass testing in Liverpool.
mm.
I think it'll be very, very interesting to see the data on that when that comes out.
Have they got a timeline for when it's going to come out? Do you think? Oh, well, or do you know?
Sure, I'm not sure, but I believe the test is a little different because it's an antigen test instead of an antibody test. So the specificity should be a lot higher
Yeah,
on this. It doesn't really give false positives, but it does give, I think, 70% accuracy. So there's about 30% of false negatives where you can be carrying the virus, but you'll show up as negative.
yeah.
But from my understanding is if you're highly infectious, so about 95% of those cases will get picked up. So if you're like actively shedding, so the accuracy of the test is pretty good overall.
You should just do
Obviously, it's
both tests at the same time, and then you can compare. Surely that would be like the best way. Just go both sides, and
yeah,
then you could get a more interesting or more data to look at, isn't it?
yeah. Well, I mean, and we've got these vaccines. Who knows when they're coming through?
Yeah,
It's
I just want to go back to the football
just-
matches, man.
yeah.
I can't be watching on TV. I hate it. It's
I know the atmosphere. They've got like FIFA sounds in the background.
FIFA sounds, but also like I'm used to shouting and screaming where no one knows who I am really at the
Well, I
match.
think they announced that football matches might be coming in
Yeah,
soon, right?
but
Is it
we're
four
yeah, but
thousand?
it's Manchester, so I can still tier three.
Oh yeah, I see. I
And
see.
it's only like 4,000 that can go in the stadium or something.
Hmm.
So what's the
So
likelihood of me getting in? Like,
unless you have a season ticket, you're not getting in, basically.
yeah, I do. So you're down to about 56,000 season ticket holders, or 60,000, isn't it? Um,
Yeah.
so then you're 4,000 out of 50,000. So you've got what is that, a 8% chance of getting in?
Yeah. Not ideal, is it?
And then do they have some preferential treatment over people who are local and don't need to take transport?
I presume they just do a lottery, right? I don't
I
know.
think they're gonna look at, are you coming in by bus and or train, or do you come by car? Do you
Yeah.
walk? I think people who take the train and take the buses and stuff are gonna be like, yeah, no, you can't come in that
And
way.
it's gonna be a weird experience. I think even if you get to go, it won't be that full match day feeling.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's out of the house.
That's
Something
true.
else to do. Um, yeah, it's all very up in the air, isn't it?
No, 100%. I think it's been interesting how things are going to go in December, and then we're going to have our 5 days of Christmas, which is another interesting thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with the values and stuff like that. I mean, I would have thought, okay, best thing to do if you're gonna open up for Christmas is to go super hard until the
Hmm.
22nd or something, and then have
Yeah, I don't,
Christmas, and then maybe lock down again straight after, and then
yeah,
open up.
or maybe if they bring in more of the testing like they're doing in Liverpool, I think that would be quite a good idea to just say, look, if you're going to meet up, don't meet up if possible. But if you're going to meet up, then at least have a test first. So if you test positive, you got to stay at home. I
Yeah,
think that's a pretty sensible precaution. But I don't know. Obviously, it depends on the availability of these testing and the kits and
and
things.
who's got the
So
contract?
yeah, and who's got the contract and who's going to do it? I've been hearing about dentists maybe getting involved in.
FDs? Is it FDs are doing
Yeah,
it?
I don't know. Yeah, and administering
Yeah.
vaccines and doing testing and stuff. It's an interesting world that we're living in at the minute.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard FDs are being conscripted. I think that's the right word to be doing it
Yeah,
once there's a vaccine to be given. So yeah, definitely doesn't help their dental education by any stretch.
but it's been a quick turnaround of this vaccine as well, which is interesting. But
Hmm.
from my understanding, I think it's an adaptation of a pretty well known technique. Um,
I did read something about this whole vaccine thing. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how accurate the actual information that was because it was a random video I was watching on YouTube with, I think it was Joe. It's probably Joe Rogan because that's
yeah,
most of what I listen to, other than
yeah,
football podcasts. But yeah,
sure,
um,
sure.
the guy was saying that a lot of the reason vaccines take 6 years is applying for approval, waiting back to here for like six
Mm,
months for approval, waiting back,
yeah.
waiting, just sitting around
Do
doing
this
nothing.
test. Can we do this next bit? And you're just waiting for them to
Yeah,
approve.
like
5 minutes.
six
Like, yeah,
months.
go on ahead.
So I think they just go
Yeah.
quickly read it, go, okay, yeah, it sounds about right, and it's what we normally would do, and then just going, from step to step and getting pre-approval for the next step. So supposedly
Mm.
that's why it's been much quicker. Um, but who
But
knows?
currently the vaccine closest to delivery, I believe, requires storage in -70 degrees,
Yeah,
which is a whole other, issue in itself because, normally, if supply lines are intact and things are running efficiently, but we've got Brexit coming around the corner. So if you've got something that needs to be stored at -70 degrees, a very delicate vaccine, it's getting, holed up at port, being shipped in from from Belgium or wherever it is on the 1st of January, because it's going to be chaos then.
yeah. That's not the only thing because the international vaccine law, which is apparently a thing,
Hmm.
means you can only have a
Yeah,
certain number of turnovers. I think it was three or four
yeah.
from production to delivery of the vaccine.
Hmm.
So that means you can't hand it over more than twice until it gets to the person who's actually going to be giving the vaccine,
Oh yeah, okay.
which
So
further complicates things.
you literally have to be like, right, it's going from the factory to the UK,
That's
and
one.
then you just deliver it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one.
and then you got to like ship it to a warehouse or something, and then deliver it to the GPs.
I think it should be done in hospitals, to be honest, because they've
Yeah,
probably got the space and the capacity to do these things as opposed to some tiddly little
true.
GP surgery. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult, but they're drafting in all these rules for GPs, and they're setting like GPs targets like UDAs and like vaccination targets and
They shouldn't
stuff.
be like, lol, no thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they still got
I
everything
know.
else to deal with. Like, what are they going to do?
I know that. Uh, they've been doing their best. It's crazy. It's
Mm.
crazy. They've been working so hard, and they've been providing a huge amount of face-to-face appointments and phone triage
But
as
phone
well.
triage is the worst for GPs, I would think, because, well, I spoke to a
Yeah,
GP. Basically, anyone can phone up now. You don't have to come
yeah.
in for an appointment. That makes it much easier for people to just call in and complain about, oh, yeah, I stubbed my toe. What do I do?
Uh-huh.
All these kinds of pointless things that actually you can just deal with at home because it's not that serious. Now you can just call the
Mhm.
GP and be like, yeah, what do I do? And like waste the time essentially. So,
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, it's keeping the efficiency up and somehow doing all this extra stuff
mm,
it's gonna magically happen. I don't
in
know.
-60.
Yeah, yeah, -70.
Was it 70? Oh, right.
-70. But I believe there's an Oxford vaccination as well that's coming through, but from the data I've seen, it's maybe 70% effective or
Yeah,
70 to
this
80%.
it's a
But
two-step vaccine, isn't
but
it?
it can be kept in a fridge, which does seem a lot more viable for me.
Yeah. So we'll let everyone else take it, and then 70% was
Well,
sounds like we'll get the herd immunity by 70%.
yeah, that's it. We'll
Royce's favorite word.
the herd immunity. It's just not worked, has it? It's just
They tried. They tried. They opened everything
yeah,
up. They had a fake lockdown for a few months. Yeah.
yeah. And then everyone went to school, and then it just got really bad again.
Yeah.
And then we've
Shut
had a
down.
lockdown now, and then we're gonna hit Christmas. Everyone's gonna meet up because the apparently coronavirus doesn't,
It's
you
taking the
know,
week off. It's been harder. It's been a
it's
hard
been
year for it.
furloughed for 5. Yeah, it's been furloughed for 5 days at Christmas.
You don't even want
So
to joke about it because it's actually serious, but it's just so
it's
ridiculous, isn't it?
I know what can you do? I mean, like the day before Eid, they're like, right, lockdown.
Double
Yeah,
lockdown.
Diwali, lockdown. You
Yeah.
know, Christmas, yeah, meet up. It's it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
It's
I see two sides to the argument though, because Christmas in the UK, it's not just a religious festival. It's kind
it's
of
an
like,
economic festival. It's
well, it's an economic festival. It's also it's
that's
more.
why I think that I don't think they're favoring Christians by any stretch. I think they're just
Mm,
like thinking,
yeah,
well, okay, the economy usually just smashes it around Christmas time. We don't open things up for Christmas.
yeah.
We ain't getting that cash back in.
Yeah, well, but also it's a time of holiday, right?
Yeah,
Like it's like a summer holidays, right? It's just a normal break in the year, and people do meet up. Like not all Muslims are going to be getting out of Turkey and getting presents from Santa, but like it's very common that you'll go see your family, you'll
yeah,
have a
because you
dinner
got the day
together,
off
right?
in it, so it's all good.
It's a time for family and community.
Yeah,
So it's but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a
it's
tough one this
it
year.
just I don't think they've done it so it's a point of, oh yeah, stick it to the brown people because they didn't get Eid and Diwali and
Yeah,
whatever.
I
There's a
don't think
few
it's that
Jewish
either.
festivals as well that were missed out, weren't there as well?
Hmm.
Which I can never remember the names of and always mispronounce. But I know there were a couple that they missed. But I think it's very cynically, I think it's all to do with the money.
Probably.
That's my cynical thoughts on the matter there.
Probably, but like our health crisis is still going. The economic crisis is gonna be tough the next 2 3 years.
Yeah. Supposedly Brexit's
So,
going to make it worse. Word on the street.
well, yeah, I guess I guess we'll deal with that. That's 2021.
Yeah.
Everyone who's sitting here going, 2020, can't wait till it's over. Mm,
Have
mm.
another thing coming.
Yeah. So we got that coming around the corner.
How have you managed with it in your
Yeah.
practice? Everything gone
We
swimmingly
we
since, or
we've managed to do okay.
yeah?
We tried to stay ahead of the curve as much as possible. So we've been very much reading up all of the guidelines as
Mm,
soon as they come out. Myself and Zuber have had a few discussions about things. We've been getting air purifiers, working on our ventilation, sorting out our fallow time, trying scheduling appointments. We've had we've been very lucky that the whole team's been motivated and they all know what to do for their each bit. Everyone's getting called before the appointments, they're having their COVID history taken,
yeah.
they're being flagged if they're high risk patients, and then we're trying to schedule patients that the high risk ones come at the start of the session. And we've had an extra room put in that we can, use for fallow and things. So we've actually managed to be okay.
Yeah.
We've been working as a UDC for the NHS, seeing referrals pretty much the whole way through. I think there was a couple of weeks where we had to close down, and then we were just doing the UDC stuff. So we've not been too bad. Probably seeing less patients than normal, like everywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been busy. Um, like I thought I'd be able to take a bit more time off work, but I've just been. Anytime I plan any holidays, I'm always just like getting dragged back in to see emergency, see patients and things. It's just, yeah,
Bit non-stop. Yeah.
it's been nonstop. And I think the thing is because these days you can't like
Fly
go
anywhere. Yeah.
away,
Well, you
right? So like,
can,
if you're,
you just got to do a 2 week extra holiday
yeah.
once you get home.
And I can't afford to take 2 weeks off for my patients just to sit at home
Yeah.
as much as I'd love to. But um, although this last week with the PlayStation 5 coming out, I've been tempted.
Is that a cough I hear? I
Huh?
think you got a cough.
A cough?
Yeah,
No, I'm
I
not.
can see that your taste. your taste and smell's all gone, bro. You're gonna have to spend some
Oh
time at
yeah,
home.
it's I think I need 2 weeks just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd ho-
You look a bit pasty.
I know, right? And play some Spider-Man.
What's it like actually? Is it how's it?
The PS5,
Yeah.
it's pretty good actually. I've been enjoying it quite a lot, to be honest. Um, it's the controllers that are my favorite bit. So the new PS5, it's come with these controllers that where is it? Obviously have it
He's
handy just
literally
here.
playing it as we speak.
Yeah. Actually, the whole time I've been just looking past you.
Yeah.
So the controller has it's got a speaker built into it, right? As you're playing the game, some sounds come out of the controller, and it's hard to describe, but it has haptic feedback.
Oh right, like
So like if
vibrates and stuff.
yeah, but it doesn't just like do a rumble, like just like a standard rumble. So it has like different settings, so it can emulate textures. So like if you're jumping on something that's springy, the controller does like a springy movement. Like
Oh
it's
right,
really
okay.
it's really weird to describe. And the triggers have adaptive feedback. So if you're pulling back like on a bow, the trigger has a bit of resistance on it.
Oh, it
So
pulls against you a little bit.
it pulls against you a little bit. Yeah. So
Do your thumbs
it's
get
a bit
sore?
crazy.
Like have you got
No,
some
not the thumbs, maybe the fingers, but not really. You can adjust it as well.
yeah.
So it's been fun. Been getting some time in on that
I'm not much of a
where
gamer
possible.
anymore, so I'm like trying to work out the last. I played a bit of COD during the first lockdown until my brother took his PS4 to when he went back to uni. But
Oh dear.
since then I've not touched it. I'm just like, oh, okay, fair enough. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that COD was pretty fun. You know, when everyone was on it and chilling and stuff, and you just
Yeah, and Warzone.
all your
I'm
socials
I'm
went to
in a few
Warzone.
dental groups, and with dentists, you play Warzone. I think it's a really common thing
Mm,
because I was speaking to somebody from up in Leeds, and they were like, "Yeah, I was trying to get an appointment with my dentist, but apparently he's off playing Call of Duty." And I was just like, "Oh yeah, imagine that."
couldn't possibly comment.
Yeah, I was like, "Is it one of mine? It's probably one of my friends. Who
Yeah,
knows?"
that's an angry receptionist there, just dropping someone in it.
Yeah, that's a
But yeah, and like all the socials, like you know, the people that you normally go and meet, if they had a PS4 in the house, everyone's just on there instead. And that's where the
well, I mean,
socials went down.
that's the socializing now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like you just can't meet up. What can you do? If you if you can't meet up in person, you meet up online. That's kind of the new thing for guys, I guess. I don't know about girls playing too much Call of Duty. I
yeah,
know
I don't
some,
know.
but
Socially distant walks, some people are doing.
yeah, socially distance online shopping.
Yeah, that's not good. Bit expensive,
I
isn't
know.
it?
Actually, yeah. Have you been indulging in Black Friday?
What did I get? I got a strap for my camera that I can. Was it a wrist strap or a shoulder strap? That I
Oh,
haven't got one, so I thought that I needed one because you know if I'm out and about, I don't want to be holding the thing the whole time. So
yeah,
if I
yeah.
can put it around my
Right.
neck or something, that's what I've done really.
I've been quite boring this one. I've just been buying stuff for the office for work.
Any
New
toys?
bits of equipment and stuff.
Any new fun toys?
For work, no, not really. I finally finished that my new room, so I've got like a ceiling mounted TV. I've got a TV put on the back wall and
You
stuff.
baller
I've I've got some pretty nice noise cancelling headphones, the Sony ones.
for the patient.
So yeah, for the patient. So during procedures, they can just put on the headphones, watch some Netflix and stuff, and chill. Just take it easy. So
See, I'm never sure whether that's going to work in a surgery that I would work in because scope comes over right
yeah,
90 degrees. Can they just see the scope or can they see anything in front and behind it? I don't know where you'd have to put something.
I think you'd have to put it slightly behind,
Be
so that
like,
they're like back.
yeah, or maybe in front. I'd have to
Yeah,
work it out.
get them some goggles. That's the next.
VR
That's the next.
goggles. That would get in the way though, wouldn't it? Maybe a good hand
Maybe.
rest,
Well, you can get some pretty small ones that are like glasses, which are
low
like
profile.
low profile
Mm,
ones, which aren't too bad. But then I feel that's like a lot of effort for the
it's
patient. You're
it's a
probably
bit
not
much, isn't it?
bothered.
What if they
Yeah,
start moving their head because something's going on? That's probably not what you're after if you're trying to cut a crown prep or something or a veneer.
I know, right?
Um,
And then at lunchtime, you're just gonna be like, "Oh, I might just sit in the surgery, play some Call of Duty or something." No work's gonna get done.
Yeah, I can imagine you doing that actually. Now you say it.
I mean, I mean, I have tested it and it does work
Yeah,
in the surgery. And there may or may not be an Xbox controller somewhere in that room. If there's a big cancellation, possibly.
could be done.
But I hope nobody from Synergy's watching this podcast.
Hey, you're the boss. You can do what you want, man.
That's true. So it's been all right. I've been taking the downtime to set up a few things,
Yeah,
try and plan for the future, and so hopefully once things are fully back up and running, we can hit the ground running. You don't want to just be sitting there and just things getting worse and worse and not making any improvements. Spending time doing a CPD. We've got a couple of new staff, so I'm spending some time with my trainees, some new dentists, trying to train them up.
mm,
Um, we've got some VTE stuff coming on as well. So it's we're doing our best to not only keep going but to also keep building where possible.
yeah. I've been reading a lot this week about digital, and it's doing my mind in because there's so much out there. I was just trying to simply work out which scanners work with which systems and which printers and
Yeah.
which milling units work with those scanners. Oh my god, it's a
Yeah.
maze. It's impossible to
Oh
work out.
yeah. Yeah. And in certain countries, certain scanners work. So like the Trios works with Invisalign here,
Hmm.
but from my understanding in America, there's a bit of a
No.
problem. However, there appears to be some lawsuit that's going on at the minute about having monopolies and restricting open access to medical equipment. So that's all up in the air at the minute. So
I don't know if they're just going to say, well, Invisalign isn't needed. I reckon that's probably going to be their defense. Like, you don't need Invisalign. You want it. It's not like
but
cancer
some people
surgery,
do
though, isn't
need
it?
it. Yeah, but some people do need it. Some people, yeah, but then you have fixed, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's going to be interesting how that lands. So, actually, yes. Oh, that. Oh, right. Okay. I didn't actually realize that there's a difference between what the American stuff is and what is here. So that
So
changes
certain
what
things
I
are being
think now.
licensed. Yeah, certain things are licensed only in America, and certain things are licensed in the UK. So it's even more complicated.
Right. So now I've got to go back to the drawing board. Not that I'm getting any of this stuff. I just think it's important to know,
Yeah.
especially because I'm talking about a lot of it a lot. So you can actually
Oh,
use Invisalign with Trios, which obviously then means, but no, CEREC is still separate, isn't it?
CEREC is still separate, and the CEREC one is obviously more for the milling crowns and things. I think Trios is kind of in between. Although it's had a really nice update recently, which lets you scan the gums and things. So I've started doing
Mm.
some more dentures with it digitally, and honestly, the fit's been nice with the scanner.
Any issues with like it at all?
No, I've not done any full arch ones, but for like RPDs, it's been really nice
Mm.
actually. And the scanning on the soft tissue it's significantly better than it used to be. The update from a couple of months back is making a big difference to be honest.
Yeah, it's gonna be
So
interesting because I'm
really
sure
enjoying
you
it.
could do a full arch, but I don't know whether you. I don't know what the issue would be with a full arch if you had to do that. Maybe like post dam and stuff like that.
Well, I think post dam is one. You would need to then check that in the math and then do a digital marking of the post dam.
Yeah,
The other thing as well is when you're scanning soft tissue, the way these scanners work is they stitch lots of separate images together. But when soft tissue is just all pink, it's more difficult for the scanner to pick out like a line angle or anything specific.
yeah.
But recently, it does seem to be working a lot better. Sometimes you might use a scan powder. You might put some artificial landmarks in, like little dots of composite, things like that, just to create
Differential.
some roughness,
Yeah.
some texture exactly for the scanner to work off, and then just rescan the areas when you've got a bit more of the picture.
That's where
So-
it's almost like geography. You're just gonna shade in with indelible pencil
Yeah,
the entire
literally.
entire arch.
I had this one where I just could not get the middle of the palette, and I was just like, oh, so I had to like get some flowable, stick a little bit here,
Mm,
scan a little bit, take the flowable off, and but I guess we'll see what it's like when it comes back.
yeah,
But I
interesting.
have found that with the efficiency of the cases, it does seem to be a lot quicker because you're not worrying about transport to and from. So when it comes to COVID, for me, it's a lot safer for patients because you're not having any, and my technicians,
Yeah, there's no
because
cross
you're not having
contamination.
any. There's no cross contamination, right? You have a print which is sent to the laboratory. It's not being near the saliva. The work that's coming from the lab is usually printed off as well. So that's not been on a model, so it's safer for people handling it and being delivered and things like that. So it improves the efficiency of your workflow because you're not having a day here and there of
Mm,
like transport forward and back for a lot of things. Even when it comes to the dentures, I'm usually doing my scan. I can do my bite at the same time,
Yeah,
so I'm
all
not
in
having
one.
to do it. Yeah, I'm not having to do a separate bite appointment. I can record that on the scanner. You can even do patient-centric movements. So it's an exciting time, and I can see these becoming significantly more common in the near future.
Yeah, yeah. Have you?
And
What's the difference between lab fees? This is something that in my head it should be cheaper, but is that not always the case?
well, it depends on the printer that your lab is using.
Right.
The resolution of the printer, which is like the detail that they can put in and the accuracy, and the material that the things are made out of, and all this equipment costs money as well. Like, so the
Yeah.
scanner is an initial quite hefty investment that you have to do to get into that workflow, and it's the same for these laboratories. There's a whole range of printing solutions that you can get into. Um, and you can start off with like basic printers like the Elegoo Mars, and you can go all the way up to like things like the Sprint Ray and the Aziga Max. There's a whole field right
Yeah.
there. But for something like that, whenever I'm not sure, you just have to message somebody like Adam Nolte
Right.
who knows his stuff. He's the guy to ask. If whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, you just got to message him and say, right, what do I do here? Because he's like
He's the
the
king of it.
god of
Yeah.
digital.
Yeah. A couple of my
Yeah,
friends work in his practice in is it Castle on the Rock, in
yeah,
Bury.
yeah.
And I definitely need to chew their ear off just to learn more about this because I only really clocked onto the printing side of this stuff pretty recently.
Mm,
I was like, wow, there's so much you can do. Because I
yeah,
kind of knew, I knew about Invisalign because Itero because everyone keeps on talking about it, and their webpage is very very informative when you want to go and look at it. But then I was like, hold on, what's this printing business going on? Like, what's all this stuff? And then the milling.
yeah.
I've seen a bit of more of Simon Shard's stuff recently. And he
Oh
does his
yeah.
own he does his own milling and glazing and stuff. Oh, it's just unbelievable.
So it's so fun as well, but some dentists love that stuff, and some are just like, why do you spend your time on it? Send it to the lab, and they'll do
Mm,
it for you. But when you control the entire process from start to finish, you can put your own character and your detail in it. I think that's a different level of work, and then you understand what you do wrong as well.
yeah,
Because when something goes wrong, you're just like, oh, the lab, the laboratory, they've done
it's
it.
literally you. Maybe that's why people
It's
don't
the
want to do
teams.
it.
Yeah, because if something doesn't fit, it doesn't look right. There's nobody to blame but yourself.
Yeah, but even like
So
the cost of doing a crown once you have a CEREC is like once you paid it off, obviously, because there's that initial outlay. Um, you can do same day crowns. It's just
mm,
crazy, like how much different the dentistry can be, even though the patient doesn't see it. Like in the back end, there's a lot of stuff going on, which can be more fun. And and we
no, very
both like our
true.
toys, so there's that.
Yeah. And for me, I really love lithium disilicate, like the Emax as a material. I just love it
Yeah.
because for me, whenever we do it near the gums just heal so nicely. I get so little inflammation, and the results that you get from these are fantastic, really. So it's definitely the way forward.
You're not using much zirconium or anything like that, then?
It depends. On posterior teeth, if they're quite heavily restored, don't have much enamel, I'll tend to go for
Yeah.
zirconia. But for anterior teeth, I really like the Emax as well.
Mm. Yeah, it's got good
Uh,
bonding potential and stuff like that as well. So you can get a pretty strong bond with like a Panavia or whatever particularly you like to use. Um,
yeah,
I love those, the compression dome onlays. Um,
yeah,
I've been doing a lot of like reading around those, and I did a couple during FD, but didn't quite get them
yeah,
textbook right. But I think I know where
yeah.
I should have changed them. Like, they worked perfectly fine, and as far as I know, they're still there. Uh, but
Yeah, I've done a couple, but I want to see the long term in my own
yeah,
hands, because you all see these cases, but I've been quite lucky that I've been at the practice now for 5 years. So I've and I think this is something that some dentists don't really get to experience, because I feel like there's been a culture of being an associate 3-4 years someplace, and then you kind of move on, and then you don't see your own failures.
mm,
It's difficult to, because you might do something, you think, I've done it right, but when it fails, and you sit and you critically look at it and you go, well, what could I have done better? What things can be improved upon? And that's something that you only really get from staying in a place for a long time. unless you're getting a lot of phone calls, I guess, from an angry practice owner demanding you come back to sort a few things out.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's been an interesting one there.
yeah. I think it's I think it's probably that culture. I don't know if it's down to kind of how people move around physically anyway. You know, people are very mobile these days. People our age or my age certainly aren't kind of settling down.
Yeah.
Like, you know, no one's getting a family and kids very quickly. It's all moved on
Mm.
5 years, 10 years from maybe what people used to be doing, and maybe that's why you're not seeing people stay around in the same practice until they find that, you know, that first one
Mhm.
comes along, and then you, okay, now we've got to stick around for schooling and that sort of stuff, and then you maybe start to see your own failures. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I've just had an update on the data from the clinic. So I believe it's coming to a cost of about £4 per patient that we
Yeah,
see. We're seeing around 4,000 patients a year. So again, yeah, around 16,000 is what it's taken to run the clinic. So I feel like we should have a word with the people who are providing the UDA rates and try and work something out.
don't say it too loud. There'll be people working out what the flight cost to Bangladesh is.
Yeah,
Hi, do you do veneers?
yeah. Oh, do you know what? There's been a huge thing on these influencers going, and these young ladies getting their teeth filed down for veneers they're calling
Yeah.
them, these turkey teeth. Oh, it's breaking my heart, to be honest. If I'm seeing these preparations that they're having, and I don't know who's preparing them, but they're like TP tents, they're like
Well,
V's.
it's not Gulip Gorel, that's what we know for sure.
Yeah, it's not one of these ultra conservative masters of restorations, and it's quite sad to see because these young people, they think they're getting their perfect smile, and I would say a minimum 10% of the teeth they've had prepared will need root treating.
Yeah.
A minimum 10%, and that's from literature of decent preps.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't
Uh,
discourage it with me and my endo sitting
oh,
here.
and your field is great, yeah. And implants, it's great for us,
Yeah,
but it's not.
pre-implant endodontics, when
Yeah,
eventually, you know, the root becomes brittle, then the implant comes along. Then
yeah.
they'll go to yourself or someone like Farhan for an all on
Mhm.
four.
Yeah, and then and they're stuck in that cycle.
Yeah.
It's such a young age, and it's something that we really highly discourage. In a lot of these cases, just a little bit of some bleaching, some composite bonding, or some alignment. They could have an amazing, beautiful smile. So it's a shame. So
People want
it's
fake looking stuff these days though, don't they?
yeah,
Have you seen some of the overfilling and when it comes to Botox and lip fillers and cheek fillers and stuff like that? People are starting to look a little bit like cartoon characters almost, and how they're walking
yeah.
around.
I know a lot of people are coming. They want like the be all shades, and they want like the really smooth, flat teeth. And I'm like, yeah, but that beautiful anatomy of the teeth. And they're like, yeah, we don't want that.
BL, like I'm pretty close to, well, I was A1B. There you see.
Yeah,
Uh,
not too bad.
I mean, I kind of feel like I wanted like maybe a bleach shade, the first bleach shade, but
I think I
fine.
want maybe like a BL, not like a BL4 though.
Oh
Like
right,
a
yeah, no, not so white. It's actually blue. I think that's kind of the line.
yeah,
You shouldn't be getting to that kind of a so white it's blue sort
yeah.
of level. Yeah,
So, but I think everybody has like a different thing that they like. I personally, I much prefer the anatomical, the textured teeth, but I know some people really just like the smooth and the level American teeth.
yeah. Have you seen the thing where people are getting nail files out? Doing
So there's another endo in the waiting there.
yeah,
That's
I did a TikTok reel thing to one of those.
yeah, I saw it. I saw it, and you're just like, why? Oh no.
It's great. It's great for me. It's my perfect sort of thing. I can just react to it, um, and be pretty sarcastic whilst I'm reacting. So
Mhm. It's like there was a craze, wasn't there, of people putting rubber bands on their teeth
oh, because they
to
want to
like close.
look like they've got braces.
No, like no, they would actually put rubber bands between their two front teeth to add a diastema to try and close the diastemas and stuff like just crazy stuff. And they were getting like root torsion and roots coming out of the gums
Sounds like a black triangle to me.
yeah, yeah. A black triangle. No diastema, but your incisal edges are now.
Yeah, you got the you can literally get dart through the middle of the triangle. Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know.
So it's there's some interesting trends that are going on, but so again, if there is anybody that's tuned in again, we're trying to raise some
Yeah,
awareness
let's get back
for
to
we're not
the
talking about it
point.
much.
We did a good 10,
for
15 minutes at the
for
start, and then we went a bit crazy, didn't we?
Well, that's all right. It's always good to have a chat to you. It's not been 24 hours this time, so I'm getting a lot more engagement than than I'm. So it's Miles4Smiles with Refugee Crisis
Yeah,
Foundation. We're doing donations through Just Giving, to Virgin Just Giving, and we're encouraging everybody to get involved either as an individual or as a team. And we're always happy to provide more information. If you don't want to get involved in the Miles4Smiles, there's lots more things that we can do. We do bake sales, we do clothing drives, we do funding raisers, we do the gala, which is obviously not happening at the minute. We've got students that are involved at different universities. Your university may already have a society set up, a
yep,
Refugee Crisis Foundation Society. So I would encourage anybody watching to get involved, send us a message. You can find us on Instagram on Refugee Crisis Foundation. You can drop me a message. I'm sure Jabir will pass on any interested details as well.
yeah, yeah.
So there's lots of things you can do, and you're just sitting at home. Why not get involved, right? Might as well do some good while you're
Get
there.
walking, get doing something. Yeah.
Get away from your PS5. Not that I encourage such behavior or condone it, but
Is there a portable option with the PS5 where you can maybe be on the bike and maybe strap it to the bike with something and then have a
you know what? I've not thought
have an
about that, but
LCD
that could be.
screen on it?
We used to be able to connect your phone to the PS4. If you had decent internet, you could actually get that going.
Yeah, yeah, we did that a few times because Virgin Internet is very, very terrible, and sometimes you have to use
Oh
your actual phone hotspot to make it work. So
yeah.
yeah,
So there's definitely different things you can do to get involved. But yeah, so that's the plan for the minute. So how are things on your end then? Are you still chilling at home, or
I
what's
am
what's going
still
on with you?
chilling at home. I did get to a point. I think after September, maybe mid September, getting going into October, then it finally started to grate on me being at home.
Is
Before
it?
then, I was pretty okay. But yeah, I think at some point you're just like, okay, well, I kind of want to do something. But this has been a bit too long. I'm nice and rested now. And you're like, okay, well, we'll have to wait it out. But here it is.
That's it. But we're almost at the end of the year, so
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to 2021 and the new challenges that we're gonna have. I'm hoping I'm very wrong about how Brexit's gonna go.
Oh no, we're probably not wrong.
Being an Irish citizen, so a non-UK nationality living in the UK,
Yeah.
it's but you know what? At least I still have my Irish passport, so I'm happy for the EU. I can still get about.
How long do you think before the union breaks up?
I
That's
don't
the
know. I
interesting
don't think it will.
question because I think the
I
Scots are
I
not happy.
Oh, you mean like the United Kingdom
Yeah.
Union? I thought you meant the EU.
No,
I
EU's
I
going
think the
strong.
Scots.
EU for life.
Yeah, I think the Scots are fuming, aren't they? Because when they voted for independence, they were part of the EU,
Yeah.
and Scotland pretty much unanimously voted to remain in the
Like
EU. From
70%, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a huge proportion.
Mm.
So that's another interesting one. I guess we'll see how things go. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe it could be the return of the good old British Empire. The colonial days are going to be back.
Yeah, that's
UK's
what everyone wants, go stick people back on boats and stuff.
Yeah, except this time we'll be taking Facebook data servers and
Yeah.
and Google Maps.
No, I'm not optimistic for Brexit and how it's gonna go down. Um,
Yeah,
I really can't work out which way, how it's gonna benefit anyone. Like I'm not seeing anyone who benefits just yet.
yeah,
That's the thing. Like for other things, it's like okay, well, you vote one way, then there's certain things that can go for some people and against some other people, but at least someone's benefiting. But this is just like
well, it's supposed to be like certain things come within EU law, about like manufacturing and trading and things like that,
yeah,
which could in theory benefit some markets. But then you look at the number of UK-based assets that have now been outsourced to other countries. Um, Even like is it Dyson, this huge Brexit supporter? As soon as Brexit
He's
happened,
moved it all to China, hasn't
he,
he, or something?
he's moved it all to China.
Yeah,
So what happened to supporting the Great British public to empower themselves, and then you just outsource all this stuff because it's cheaper. It's crazy.
yeah. It's all a bit fishy, isn't it? Really, but yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I think there was something about like tax evasion laws that were coming in, and that was like a big reason why
Yeah.
certain people wanted it to go through on a no deal basis as well. So
Yeah.
um, we're looking.
And nobody voted for no deal either. I don't get it. We're going out with no deal, and nobody wants no deal. We were told it's going to be a deal. Now it's no deal.
Yeah,
So
like we said, very fishy.
yikes.
And we're not talking about
Very
fishing rights
fishy.
either.
Yeah. Well, I've heard fishing rods are going to improve. I think that was one of the ones that was like a big sticker. I didn't realize it was that big an
Yeah,
issue,
I
but
didn't realize people, were really that bothered about fish. But
I mean, I do like fish.
apparently so.
Apparently so. But and even farming, actually, there was like things about like surplus and targets and things, but I think farmers are actually struggling from understanding because they used to have a lot of EU workers come over to help with the farming and the production
Yeah.
during summer months. And now with Brexit and less people coming over, it's actually become a problem for them. So it's yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one.
It is really, really crazy. It does feel like a lot of the people who voted for it have kind of shot themselves in the foot on
Mhm.
a patriotic, nationalistic basis. Which I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that because I'm pretty sure that's where it was for a lot of people. They genuinely thought, you know, going out of the EU meant Pakistani people are going back home, and I've had that said in so many words. So
Yeah.
it's one of those that I don't know how controversial that is, but I'm gonna say it.
Yeah. I think there was an element of that. I
Yeah,
think some more of it was to do with like the immigration and trying trying to get the control of the borders back. But then if you can only control your border on one side, you're not working with the other side who also controls part of the border, so
yeah,
like the EU, etc., then it becomes more difficult to manage things. So it's things aren't always as straightforward as they seem. Obviously, myself, I'm going to be biased because I work with refugees, and for me, it's a situation that's close to my heart. So denying these people who, in my opinion, are very worthy people, and they wouldn't come here without a reason.
yeah,
And for me, a lot of the time, the some of the reasoning is to do with UK-based foreign policy.
yeah, 100%. I mean, have you seen
It's-
some of the
and
countries pre-war? Just way more.
beautiful
Yeah,
countries,
I mean, look at this
amazing
dump
countries.
we're in here right now. I'd be
Yeah,
if everything was better over there, I'd be more inclined to go to somewhere like Syria. Some of the beautiful like beaches and all sorts that they've got around there. If
I know these were developed countries.
yeah,
These were, like, stable. They weren't like all third world, poor, backwater
mm,
Arab countries. It's not that's not that at all. Um, they may be portrayed like that, and people don't realize. But a lot of these were very settled people with families. That's their lives had just been pulled up. It could have been us. It could have been members of our family. It's just an insane situation, and obviously COVID's only made things worse for
yeah.
everybody around the world, but it's made things worse for these people in these camps, significantly worse. For us, we got to stay at home. We can't go to Tesco every day. We can't go
Oh,
for
I can't go
restaurants.
to the football match.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
That's
Like
really first world problem, isn't it? Really.
it's it's there's no doubt there's a lot of people going through economic hardship in this
Mm,
country due to COVID, and there's a lot of businesses that are struggling, but the levels that we're looking at are vastly different. So again, that's why during December, we're trying to just show people who get involved a small fraction of what these people are going through.
yeah,
Just in the travel portion, never mind, and the accommodation and the living
trying
and
to
the
get
separation from their
food
family
and
and
all these things. Yeah,
yeah, and the trauma that these people go through before, and a lot of these refugees, once they get to these camps and they settle down, that's when they start reliving what's actually happened. And there's a huge amount of mental illness and these kind of things that are developing in the campsite
mm,
that they don't really process in the first 6 months or a year, and it's more of a long-term issue. um and then to be told once they get here and they finally start to settle, and to be told there's no room, you have to go back to your country, and you know, it's a difficult situation for everyone, and there's never going to be an ideal thing because every country has limited resources, and every country, you know, tries to look after their own, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But I feel that a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the responsibility towards why these people are in this situation is also to do with things that the UK has done or the world
Yeah.
has done, and people are still people, no matter where they're from.
Well, this whole
Um,
thing, especially recently with France, um, cracking down on like hijab, cracking down on, religious freedom and stuff like that, even though there's supposed to be some sort of, amazing secularized state where, it's separate from political to
yeah,
religious, whereas there's a situation now in France where you can be wearing a face covering and fined,
yeah,
but also fined for also not wearing one.
for not
Yeah.
wearing this covering. Yeah,
I mean, is that
yeah.
just not a mockery of everything that's there? And
Yeah, I mean, for me, from my time working in France at the refugee camp there, I found a lot of hostility from the French police.
yeah,
We would be searched multiple times going to and from our hotel, which was just around the corner, and they would have checkpoints everywhere. They would just get in the way. You know, I had a lot of reports from refugees of very poor treatment
mm,
by the French authorities. They were very hesitant to allow anybody to come and work there, and to provide any treatment for these people. They made it very difficult, and I do feel that France, as a country, probably has some work to do.
I think they
And
understand us perfectly well, Muslims,
yeah,
but it's more they're just very prejudiced, knowing not out
very
of
combat.
not
Yeah,
out of any like um lack of information. Like they know what they're doing really. From my sort of
yeah,
viewpoint, I mean, if you just look at France in Algeria, where in the not in the 1800s, but 1950s and 60s, they killed, what was it, 1.5 million? Let me just get that right. Let me check. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was
yeah.
1850s, because I don't want to get it wrong, otherwise so I'll get called out on it. Let me see. But yeah, they have like a very poor attitude towards different people and colored people and black people as well. It's not just
Yeah.
Muslims; it's both. Two in one. And of course, you're not condoning anything that's happened. Attacks, etc., etc.
No, 100%.
Um,
There's been some shocking things that have happened over there, and
yeah,
but at the same time, then to do things that antagonize an entire population group, um, that's deliberately insulting them as well. It doesn't neither of these things that have happened justify the other. For me, I don't understand why they're being related in the first place.
no,
You know, so an insane person does an insane criminal act. So then the French government then tries to do something that will insult the second biggest religion in the world. It's crazy. I don't understand it, but you know, it's
I can't find it. Right, across the whole colonial rule of Algeria, 1.5 million were killed, like Algerians in Algeria, and obviously, if people then post colonialism move to France because they've given them some sort of allowance to do that, and you're still getting treated like a second class citizen. Um,
yeah,
that causes tension, and then if you're like in this country, we have diversion of funding away from areas where in the north, and a lot of the funding gets pushed towards marginal seats, for future elections.
yeah,
Whereas, so Labour heartlands right now will have all the funding cut, and it'll be pushed towards areas where they're trying to shore up a minority vote, stuff like that. Same sort of thing happens with along racial lines in France and other countries as well, where you see, and America, you've got black populations where they have much less opportunity, much less funding for schools, all these sorts of things play into it. And you've got resentment
hmm
from that because they can see down the road they've got brand spanking new schools and hospitals and nice areas and roads are doing really nicely. Even things like bin collection, it's
Yeah.
it comes down to small things as well as the large things. So
Yeah.
and people notice, but unless you're being
Oh,
affected by it, you don't notice.
yeah.
So
No, it's very true. So it's a difficult thing to do as well. And then you just get the typical response of, "Oh, why don't you go back to your own country?" And you're like, I grew up here. This is where this is my
yeah,
country." So it's it's a crazy situation. Well, that's the world we live in at the minute.
here it is. I found it.
Yeah.
Eighth, I knew it was something. So over the course of the colonial thing in Algeria, it's 1.5 million. But on the end of the Second World War, thousands of Algerians took to the streets to celebrate the Allied victory over Nazi Germany. And then they
Mhm.
turned bloody when the French forces opened fired and killed 45,000 of the celebrators.
What?
1945. This isn't something that happened, you know, three, four
That's
hundred
not
years. No,
ancient
there
history.
are people's
Yeah.
like that's people's
There's
grandparents.
there's probably survivors.
Yeah,
There's probably survivors
forty
of
five
yeah.
thousand in one day of people who celebrating the end of Nazi Germany. So I think there's some serious questions that need to be asked there. Um,
Mm.
and then you have the French effectively insulting those people time and time again, kind of with whether it's cartoons, and you shouldn't react to cartoons, but people are, very, very in tune with their religion, and it's akin to kind of insulting someone's mother or father. It's like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, the thing is when a lot of these people, when you come to hard times, what do? You go to your religion,
Mm.
you pray, and you get more in tune with your religion. That's what happens. So when there is an insult or a perceived insult, then it aggravates these people more. They're already in a poor situation, and
Yeah,
and these factors to be considered as well. So it's this is why you're getting disproportionate responses. And unless people try to encourage more
yeah.
understanding and to try and improve the situation of populations as a whole, you're always going to get these outliers who will just see these injustices or perceived injustices and they'll lash out in ways that are inappropriate.
Especially in
Um,
marginalized populations, because if you have no opportunities, no jobs, something like that, and you sat around struggling to make ends meet, and maybe someone's, all these kinds of little things
or you get involved in the wrong
involved in the
people,
wrong crowd.
some
Someone
something
pushes
online
you,
happens.
yeah,
Yeah, and this is how these things happen. And this is why I have issues with stratagems that the UK brings in, such as prevent. And I'm sure lots of people, I mean, probably yourself, you've read about it as
mm,
well. And it's like we regularly get asked of why didn't you condemn this? And I go, do I need to condemn a lunatic murderer? Is this something that
it's
like
yeah,
if somebody kills 10 people, a white guy, a Christian, then do Christians come on Facebook and start condemning them for being part of their religion? It's not. It's just it's a criminal. It's a madman. It's a
yeah.
terrorist.
No
It's
matter where they come from, what they've, what
yeah.
their
It's
motivation
why
is.
does one population yeah, it's nothing to do. How could a good law-abiding person of any culture or religion
Back that sort of thing, yeah.
sympathize with that person or understand it or even like there's no excuse for it,
Yeah,
no matter where that person
but
comes
you
from.
can at the same time see where the chain reaction began in
Oh
some
yeah,
way, not for the individual, but in a general overall, well, sort
mhm,
of overall view. Okay, this has happened, and then this person is whatever, and then they're reacting to whatever, which is still wrong.
yeah,
Everyone's wrong in this situation. There's no one doing anything right,
yeah,
apart from the people who are, um, police or whatever who are trying to stop these things, or from whatever situation,
yeah,
the innocent people, bystanders, whatever. The there's obviously these people are all wrong doing these things, so it does seem
mhm,
to be some sort of way of just like shutting down a conversation by saying, oh, you're one of them.
yeah.
And I don't know if you've kind of experienced that post 7/7 and 9/11 in the UK.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's something that you come across and you learn to live with it and you learn to
Mm.
deal with it. I think when I was younger, it used to probably bother
Oh,
me
you really used to bother me actually, because
a little
I
bit
was
more.
ill. I remember for a couple of days
Yeah.
after 7/7 happened. I was only like first year
Mhm.
in secondary school when I got back in. there were people saying, "Oh, were you one of them? Like, were you
Yeah.
involved?" Like, not even joking. It was like
Yeah. Where have you been?
it was like they
You
were
off, like,
accusatory and saying, "Oh, you're one of those people, and you were off because you were doing something dodgy, and terroristic as an 11-year-old." I mean, come
yeah,
on.
it's
And
it's
this is like,
it's a crazy thing for somebody that age to
yeah,
hear.
and this is in a selective school where people had to pass exams to get in. It's not like these are really
Yeah,
uneducated people. This is how probably one in two of the population, from my experience, are either
yeah.
openly or racist in some sort of way towards you.
Yeah, but then you got to look at the source material that they're given. If we look at studies about Islam and how it's
Yeah,
portrayed in the media, something like 80% of you've got your
she's
cat there. Something like 80%
annoying me.
of uses of the word Islam, or 85% are in a negative, kind of setting. So if every time you see this you see this religion and there's something bad beside
Hmm.
it, then you subconsciously or consciously start to associate this with negative things. They don't talk about the huge amount that every Muslim gives to charity every year.
Yeah,
The all the good work that these people do. In France, the people who stopped some of these murderers were Muslims. They were given awards, and they don't mention that Muslims stopped this Muslim. No, that's not a
no,
thing. So it's the way that things are portrayed, and unless the thing is as well is it's a lot of Muslim communities, they don't help themselves because they all stay to themselves. They only speak to people that they know from when they're growing up. They don't have a big involvement in the larger community. Some people do, some
yeah.
don't.
I mean, it's not easy
And
though, is it?
and
Because I'm sure you've tried.
yeah,
I mean, at university, I mean, what
mm,
was the culture like? If you weren't drinking, it was like, oh, what's wrong with you?
yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
so how can you be in part of that group where 90%, unless you're in a football team, but even in a football team, they're
yeah,
still drinking before and after the game.
yeah. Straight after the
So
matches,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
not involved
that's
in
it.
that, then and it's uncomfortable in being in those situations as someone who doesn't drink and go out
Yeah,
and stuff like that. I mean, I did for during freshers year kind of get involved a little bit and kind of hang around people in these situations,
yeah.
but it was uncomfortable the whole way through.
I think for me, it's just by leading by example,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it? You show that Muslims are people who are trustworthy, and they're good people, and they look out for everyone that they come across. And I think we're very fortunate as well that we get to work in a position where we get to help people as part of our
yeah.
jobs. So I meet a lot of people, and I like to think that I have good rapport with my patients as well.
Yeah, yeah, of
And I
course. And
think that
don't get me wrong.
like that
It's
is
not like I'm
yeah.
putting down every person who's non-Muslim or something like that, like and classifying them. I'm just saying that this is definitely like a situation that we find ourselves in.
Yeah. But I think things have probably improved over the last 50 years as a whole.
Yeah,
I think the last few years has probably been a bit
bit of
up
a
and down.
regression since
Um,
2016, maybe.
yeah, and I think that's to do with like the tensions and some of the wars that were going around the
Mm,
world. But I'm very hopeful in the long term, because it's become much more of a multicultural society and a multicultural world, as well, that we live in, and that for me that can only ever be a good thing. And I think as the world becomes a much smaller place, access to you can get anywhere in the world in a day or two now, pretty much.
yeah.
So it's very different to what it was 30, 40 years ago. And I think for me, if countries don't learn to adapt and to go to flow with the times, then you're going to just fall behind inevitably.
Yeah, it's a very strange situation, isn't it? Whereas on one hand there are sections of society that are getting more and more welcoming, and you definitely see that certainly
Hmm.
in the left wing sort of circles. Um,
Yeah,
but then on the other hand, I've seen in Halifax where a couple of Asians moving in the street, a load of people move out.
yeah,
Suddenly, there's 4 houses for
yeah.
sale. No, really,
That's not bad.
but it's like, well, why does that happen? Why does that keep on happening in certain
Yeah,
streets? Um,
yeah.
I don't know. There definitely needs to be some sort of social cohesion going around. Uh,
No, that's it. But yeah, it's I think that's just how things are at the
Sorry for
minute.
being a
It's a
downer,
bit weird,
guys.
isn't it? Yeah, but on the plus side, the PlayStation 5 is very good.
Hold on, let me just open the door for the cat.
If
She wants to get.
That's all right.
Tell them about the PS5 whilst we're waiting.
Yeah, so the PS5 is great. I've been playing a lot of Demon Souls, anyone who's watching who plays games, and I've died a lot of times, and oh, he's back. I was saying, I recently found out that I don't know if you've ever played a PlayStation, but you get like a trophy for doing a certain achievement or a challenge in the game,
Oh,
right?
I used to love that with the
So
Assassin's Creed when I was
yeah,
someone who had that game.
so on the PS5, the controller has a microphone built in. I didn't realize, but whenever you beat a trophy, it does a recording of the video, whatever you did for about 10
Right.
seconds, but it also records the audio.
Oh dear.
So like if you get like, I don't know, like a hat trick in FIFA or something and you start screaming on your when you watch the video clip back, you get like a little clip of yourself in the background just going
Is this
crazy.
like
So
a
that
next
I've had
step if you beat someone on FIFA, uh, and you start
yeah.
celebrating like an
Yeah,
idiot, that plays on their TV? Oh god, that could be.
well, you get that in Call of Duty, don't you now? In Call of Duty, they have the death comms. So when you kill someone, you get like a 3-second clip of them like shouting at you.
Yeah, that is that like a strategy for them to have more broken PS5s, so people will buy more as people start throwing.
That's what I was saying, right? Is now that you have a controller built in, what you're gonna hear is it'll be playing, all you're gonna hear is this furious tapping, and then when you beat someone, you're just gonna hear a
Yeah,
thud off the wall, which is just great immersive
yeah, you're
experience.
gonna have to get like some padded walls in there. This
Yeah.
is my sound panels.
But the problem is apparently nobody's been able to get hold of a PS5. So even though that's our good news, it's a it's very limited good news because there's not been that many out. I was very lucky. I managed to pop out at about 9 o'clock and get my pre-order in. I saw a patient and then I had a 10-minute gap between that and an ortho consult. So I said to my nurse, I was like, right, I'm going to be back. Ran to the shop, got like the last pre-order that was in the shop available, then had to run back to clinic. I think my patient was just looking at me like, "What is wrong with my dentist?"
Got to do what you got to do, don't you?
Yeah,
The
that's
last
it.
time I did something like that was for what was it? One of the Harry Potter books, like actually lining up to get something. Was for one of the,
Oh, like midnight
yeah, midnight
release.
release in the Harry Potter book. That was the last time I did something like that. And then my brother bloody ruined it because he finished faster than I did. Told my little brother
Oh,
what happened. And then
oh,
he ran around telling everyone that, you know, and sorry if this is a spoiler for you guys, but because it's been 12, 15 years now, but Snape
yeah,
killed Dumbledore, didn't he? So
yeah.
yeah, that completely ruined the book for me and my cousin. We're still quite annoyed about it because
You're gonna have to tag this video as a spoiler now.
yeah, spoiler alert.
Harry Potter spoiler alert.
So yeah, that was really annoying, and I can still remember where I was sat. And I was still like 300 pages left of the book, so I'm nowhere near. It's not even an inkling that that's something that could happen. And then
Yeah.
here in he comes, ruins the book.
Well, at least he didn't give you the context because I think the context is very important
Yeah.
in terms of why that came about and what
Well, you
happened.
don't know that until the next book anyway, but
Well, yes, that's true. That's true. But it's a
it was enough to make us all very, very packed off.
yeah. The Harry Potter mania was huge. It's kind of died off now.
Yeah, I am thinking once lockdown is over, me and the cousins are gonna have to get back together. We're gonna do either a Lord of the Rings marathon, extended editions, because they've done the 4K Blu-ray one that's coming out soon.
Oh, I'd love to see that in for yeah.
Yeah,
I've been trying really hard not to get one of the new LG TVs. Tell myself I don't need it. That it's lockdown and it's COVID, and I need to be sensible this
mm,
year until next year because I want to see what's going to happen with Brexit.
yeah. Maybe the price will fall through the floor on some of these things. But yeah,
I might have to sell my PS5. They're going for like crazy amounts at the
would you
minute.
sell it if you got
But
a ridiculous offer?
no,
What
I
would
don't
what
think I
would be the
would.
minimum? What would be like the?
You're asking a guy who's got a a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 3. I'm pretty sure there's a PlayStation 2 in that cupboard and a Super Nintendo. I wouldn't give it up.
Even though you could easily just buy one in a couple of months once it's all
Yeah.
sorted out.
True, true, but it wouldn't be my PS5. My original
Someone
one.
goes, all right, 10K for the PS5. You're saying no.
Oh, if it was 10, I'd be like,
Yeah,
take it,
because
bro.
there is a number there, guys. Ali is open to offers if you need a
Yeah.
PS5. 10K
Yeah,
is.
for 5K, 5K and above, we'll consider it.
Mm. Maybe we should auction off your PS5 for RCF.
Oh my God, don't give. I tell you what, if
With a
we
5K reserve.
if somebody wants if somebody wants to put in a 5K donation, then we can I'll give it up for the charity.
This time, Ali is on the receiving end. It's not my hair, which is still growing, by the way. I don't know if you noticed this.
Just still
Hold
going
on.
for it. Let's have a
I
look.
can't hear you right now, but let's take off that. We're pretty long, man. We've
Wow.
gone full Cavani.
Nice. Nice. The Edison.
Oh my days. So that's happening then. So if someone will offer more than 5K
Yeah.
PS5, you're gonna say goodbye to it.
Do you know what? No, I have a feeling that there's somebody. I feel like my fiance is going to be putting in a 5K
But you'll still
donation
have
pretty
it
soon.
then. It's still there. If she buys it, or she's just gonna take a hammer to it.
No, because she's gonna just just sell it. It's gonna be gone.
Oh mate, okay. If someone puts in a five, if your fiance puts in a 5K offer, and then does a PS5 destruction vid for charity for RCF
Oh my
with a
days.
sledgehammer,
I can legit see that. I hope she's not watching
she's
because
got to give 5K.
I feel like
So
I'm gonna
yeah.
it's gonna cost me 5K and my PS5. This is a terrible deal.
Oh dear.
Oh my days. Yeah, I'm just gonna edit that bit out. I think we'll be fine.
That's
Oh,
we've finally got my payback there. Although by at this rate, I'll still have the hair.
but
But
your hair was safe in the
yeah, it
end.
was. It
There's
was safe in the end. But we've got next year.
next year. That's true. Next year. Although this year, I think we need to see what amounts we get up to
Hmm.
here. So, I'm not really set a target because I don't know how everyone's doing at the minute. It's a difficult time for everyone. The UK government's obviously cutting back on their financial aid to other countries because they're borrowing and things as well. So I
You
don't
could
want to be
just
putting
cancel
people under
Trident, but
pressure,
no.
but yeah, that's also a thing. But it's not up to us to decide those
Yeah.
things. So I'm just hoping again, anybody who's watching and who hates PS5s apparently.
I'm just not that fussed is all. Like I've not. I was tempted to
What
download.
what was the target? What was the target you set? Was it 20K? You said if we raised
It
20K,
was
was it?
10 if you wanted
Yeah.
to shave. It
Yeah.
was 20 if you wanted me to do bleaching. Although I kind of want to do the bleaching anyway, so like I was gonna
Yeah.
go like a
Okay, so let's say this, right? If we raise 20K for Miles
well, no,
for
the whole of it.
Smiles,
No, from
uh,
my own one because that's
is that it?
I'll do it. I'll do
I
it for
think
the next one.
no, not for you. I'm saying if we raise 20K, I will auction off my PS5 and I will the funds raised will go to charity as
Okay,
well. If we hit a 20K target for the overall Miles for
is
Smiles
that
campaign.
likely?
I hope not. I really hope not.
Is that Ali saying he doesn't want RCF to make money?
I mean, I do on a trustee level,
Yeah,
but on a personal
on a
level, I
personal
really like
PS5
my
level.
PS5.
The guys, that my link donation is actually in the bio to the video. If you want to get started on getting rid of Ali's PS5,
But both donate and don't donate. I don't like this. This is stressing me out. I feel like this is going to take off, and I'm going to end up having to
you've
auction
just
off my
become very
PS5.
fidgety all of a sudden.
I know. I feel like I'm going to be getting a lot of family members involved, and they're all going to be on a campaign to raise money and get rid of the
Oh, that's
PS5.
hilarious. But yeah, no. Next time when I do the 24-hour, I don't know when I'm doing
Hmm.
it. Some probably towards the back end of next year, 2021. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I think it'll be 10K for the shaved, and then 20. But the thing is, I kind of want to do the short hair with bleach anyway. So is that really a thing for charity?
Yeah.
If I kind of want to do it anyway.
Was it what? No, was it not 20K for the Mendy beard,
Oh,
the
is that what
ginger
it was?
beard?
I forgot about that.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. It was the ginger beard look. So it was 20K to make Javier into a sad clown, I think was the words you used. Bleach blonde hair and ginger beard.
Yeah, I kind of want to do the blonde hair anyway because I think it might look all right. I don't know if you saw my
Wait,
graduation
do you know?
picture. That kind of length,
Yeah,
but like blonde on top, and then the dark beard would look sick.
can't pull it off anymore. I haven't got it in me.
You'll need to go to Turkey when you get your
Uh,
veneers.
I need to go to Turkey and join the. I can maybe set up a clinic there for a couple of months, do some turkey teeth, and then
You could
I'll be
actually
good to
do some
go.
really good turkey teeth though,
Yeah, I know, but then let's just do it here.
but there's no
What's
GTC
the
here.
point? The thing is, you know what? Turkey gets a bad
No,
rep, but
yeah,
like if you look at the good clinicians, and there are undoubtedly some good clinicians there, but they charge very similar prices because if you want, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Like
mm.
that's the thing. If you want to get decent work and somebody who's going to do it properly, not cut corners, it's the same most
It's the
places in the
lab
world.
fee. It's the lab
Obviously,
fee.
yeah,
Like,
it's the lab fee and the equipment. If you want to do things accurately and digitally, which a lot of these type of cases are done nowadays, um, there's an inherent investment that's required to be able to provide that level of
yeah,
service.
no, exactly. And we spoke about this with Dr. Mack a while back, and she's like, look, you could go to Turkey and go to Gulip Gurel. He's going to charge more than some
Yeah,
people in the UK because he's better. Because he's
yeah,
literally better. It's
yeah.
like, well, that's not
Very
what
true.
people are after. They go for cheap and not very cheerful. But
Can you imagine saying, "Do you know what? I'm having heart surgery. I'm going to go to Turkey. I'm going to find the cheapest guy that I can to to do my heart
or
surgery. I'm
or
I'm going to fly over there. I'm going to fly back."
it's mad. Or you could if you wanted go to a place where an ex McDonald's worker, can actually use their knife skills from the kitchen and give you that surgery as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And do you know what annoys me is that a lot of these cases, these young patients, they just need like a little bit of filling just to round off their smiles
Mm.
or a little bit of composite bonding or something minor. Just maybe 14 weeks of alignment, which is cheaper than flying to Turkey and getting your teeth. Oh, it's just frustrating.
And I can say this because I'm never going to do fillers or Botox and stuff like that. Well, fillers especially. A lot of people are getting cheek
Mm.
fillers and jaw fillers. Could just do with a good course of gym and diet. I'm going to say
Yeah,
that because that's the reason you can't see your cheekbones because there's a bit too much on top. You don't
yeah,
need filler to make it even bigger. Like, that's my honest opinion of fillers. Obviously, the people who do that as dentists, so they're probably not going to want to say that, but
yeah.
you can clip me up and say that.
You know, I've never got involved doing the facial
Mm,
aesthetics and the fillers and things because I don't know. For me, I feel like the less things I focus on, the happier I
yeah.
am because I want to just do less things and do them well because you kind of I think at most dentists get to a point usually around kind of the 30s where they go, you know what, this is what I enjoy, this is what I don't
Me, 18
enjoy,
months
and then you
in.
start. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you just kind of get to the point where you go, you know what, I don't want to be doing this the rest of my life, but I do like this, I want to be doing that. And you start to either you don't specialize, but you might have a special
Yeah.
interest, and then you may do a master's. And I think that's the thing that everyone gets to, and everyone gets there at different rates as well.
Yeah, I mean, recently
Uh,
it makes sense to just niche down a little bit, and
mm,
and that way you can be really good at a couple of things and have time off
yeah,
because otherwise, how can you get good at something? I just don't get it unless you're
yeah.
that
But you
guy's
know what?
talented.
It only works though. It only works in some. I feel like you need to have at least one or two other colleagues that you work with because if you're only good at certain things and nobody can do the other things, then what do? You got to have somebody you can rely on to
Yeah,
to cover the different interests. I think that's very
I've been
important.
wondering recently whether, obviously I want to do endo, whether I should also think
Mm,
about, okay, maybe, well, endo is one thing, but if it fails, or it's a tooth that isn't going to be endoable, it's too difficult, or, there's
yeah.
poor chance of success, should I be someone who's looking at doing implants as well? And there are endodontists who place their own implants.
There are, but I found it a bit of an interesting one because there's almost like a conflict of interest there, isn't it? Because you're thinking if there's an
Mm.
endodontist who also does implants, are they going to do their absolute best to save the tooth? Because otherwise they'd be like, well, if it fails, I'll do your implant.
Isn't it the other way around though? Because normally when there's an oral surgeon who does implants and doesn't do endo, they're only just going to whip the
Yeah,
tooth out.
that's true. That's also very true though. But yeah, it's like they say, if you go to see a surgeon, you're gonna get
Yeah,
surgery, isn't it? So like if you see a guy who only does implants, then odds are he's probably gonna say your option is an implant. But then then you got to look at like the ethics, and I don't think most dentists are that way. To be honest, I think
no.
most people are
I think some people
very
have
optimistic
that.
about the
It's
patients.
not a huge where there's a savable tooth, but there's definitely like well,
Yeah,
they're better at selling the implant than the endo because they feel like doing the
yeah,
implant versus the endo. I think there's probably that, but it's not like they
that's
haven't
true.
given the options and stuff. They just make the implant sound
That is
more.
true. I mean, the thing is you can sell any procedure or dissuade patients from doing any
Mm,
procedure as well. Because if you tell someone, for like for orthodontics, you go, "Oh, I may have to break your jaw and reposition it and do this and that." They go, "Oh my god, that's horrific." And you go, "All I do is I put some little covers on your teeth and make them all nice and pretty and straight by doing veneers." They go, "Oh, that sounds way better." But then you go, "I could trim your teeth down all the way and make them little stumps, and then put these big porcelain fake covers on them, and or I could spend a few months just tidying things up with a little wire." It's the way you
yeah,
explain things.
it's that philosophical question, isn't it? It's like the one that's in free economics. Can you do such a thing
Yeah.
as a truly what's it called? I've lost the word. Truly selfless act. And the argument is you can't
Yes. I guess so. Yeah.
because at some level you're always
Uh,
feeling good about yourself.
that's true. That's true. Anything that you do. But I think for me now, I'm at the point in my patients where when I'm giving them the options, I'm so busy that I'm like, look, you either do it or you don't. These are
You
the
just
options. You
you're
can do
just
what
like,
you
well,
want.
it's if you don't, then I can go play PS5
Yeah.
before it
So
gets
if you don't,
auctioned
I've
off.
got Call of Duty hooked up. So do you want to play? Do you want a controller?
Yeah. Um, and
That's
you've got
it.
enough on your plate anyway. We're managing a practice and these VTEs and stuff. So the less you do clinically, the
It'll
better.
keep me busy. And yeah, well, I've dropped a day now. So I'm now working Monday to
Nice, bro.
Thursday,
Drop
no
five
longer
like
the
me. Come on.
Fridays. So I think the plan is one day for each practice that I'm involved in. I think that's like the goal,
Yeah.
and then and just otherwise, like, you can't take too much time off. If you just start taking time off here and there, then you just start to get a bit bored. Then you start taking up things like these crazy things like golf. Ooh, I don't get it.
Podcasting.
Podcasting, yeah. I'm gonna start streaming or something on
Oh,
Twitch.
you should do that. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, so twitch.tv, Dr. Ali. No. Maybe I'll set it up.
I mean,
Who
it's. I
knows?
mean, what does it take out of you? Just turn it on and play, don't you?
Well, you say that, but when you try like chatting about what you're doing, I feel like I just die a lot in Call of Duty.
But that would be amusing. Isn't it the whole point? It's amusing to watch people fail. Is that why people watch it? I don't
Maybe.
know.
No, I think generally people watch the people who are like the best in the world at
Mm,
these. It's like when you're on Instagram or on Facebook, you're not scrolling through looking at all the terrible cases. You're looking at like, like Didier's cases, composite bonding, like these kind of things. That's what you're looking at, right? You don't you want to see like some amazing stuff to get motivated and try and figure out how you can do that.
yeah, Instagram's a weird one actually, and I've been thinking like things that I post haven't changed in years.
Hmm.
They're very similar
Yeah.
in years, and yet I get more and more people following me. It's kind of like people follow the crowd. I wonder if it's the same thing
Yeah.
in Twitch. Like, there's no difference in the things that I posted 3 years ago than I am now. There's literally no different quality. I mean, the camera has changed. I'm no longer using Sony, a
Yeah.
Nikon. I'm using a Sony now. Um,
Yeah.
but it's like herd mentality. It's like, oh, a lot of people are following that person, so I also need to follow that person. Whereas I'm pretty boring. I just find an excuse to post my holiday pictures.
I've just had a message on my phone from my fiance. Is 5K all it'll take? 20 is what we've decided on. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's see whether we can get there. I won't take too much more of your time. We've done an hour and a half, man. It's flown again, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's always good to have a chat. We've still never had a chance to meet up in person because we've just had
Lockdowns.
lockdown the entire time.
No, lockdowns.
We're not even that far from each other, but what can you
No,
do?
this is exactly what I've said to a few people. Like the girl I had on yesterday is only in Leeds. Um, she was like this mad, like just being like round the corner, less than half an hour drive, and you're like
Yeah.
45 minutes maybe. Hisham's even
Yeah,
closer.
that's
He's in
it.
South Manchester. Um,
Yeah. And we're all stuck at home doing our bit.
Yeah,
But the thing is, you got to do what you got to do. You got to keep people safe. You got to try and stay at home as much as possible, and it's difficult for different people as well. I mean, for me, I'm living on my own at the minute as well. So it's just me and my cat. So it's
yeah,
tough, but I'm trying my best to not go and see people because you want to keep everyone safe. Now there's things that are allowed, like the what they call the social bubble,
yeah.
as well. And oh, here he is. He's decided to show up.
Uh,
I don't know if you've met him before. This is Raja.
we've
It's
had
my
two
cat.
cats on the show then.
Yeah, so it's become the crazy cat
Yeah.
show. So yeah, it's tough, but everyone's going through the same thing, and I think that's why community spirit and doing your bit is very, very important.
Yeah,
Um,
it's key. I think it's going to keep me sane at the very on that selfless act thing. Yes, it's going to be really good for charity, but
yeah.
actually, it's going to really help my mental health as well a little bit because it's going to give me that push to get
Well,
up
I
before
was
11
watching your
a.m.
videos, and I was thinking you could do with a bit of cardio, to be honest. So I was doing my bit to help you
Is that
out.
why you sent me the message on Monday? Like, you look a bit chubs. Let's sort you out.
To be honest, I was thinking I look a bit chubs, and I need somebody else to motivate me to do it. So I thought, you know what, Jabir is a really good target, and I was like, he's an active guy, and he's always up for doing something interesting.
Something insane.
So I thought we'd
That's what you thought. You're just
something
like that
insane,
guy will
yeah.
do anything because he's bored.
That's it. After like all the lockdown settles, we need to do like I don't know, like a sponsored
I
skydive
know
or
that's
three
no,
piece
no.
challenge.
So here's the thing, and again, I'm not being racist here, but things like skydiving, I call that white people sport
Yeah.
because they're trying to go close to death, and I'm all about self-preservation.
Very
I don't
good,
drive
very good.
fast on the motorway, which is very un-Asian of me. Um,
Yeah.
things like skydiving, it's like, why am I going to jump out of a plane for no reason? What's the other one?
Yeah, I've never done it.
Well, you're still here with us, and that's why.
Well, do you know, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because when I was in dental school, I had a patient who actually had a skydiving accident in the oral surgery department.
There you go, man.
And
There you go.
yeah, and apparently his parachute didn't deploy properly, and miraculously, he wasn't too bad because he hit a very tall tree on the way down, and the branches reduced his velocity significantly. He broke like an arm and a leg, but considering you fell out of a plane, that's you take it, and he landed in like a lake or something. So
Can we just say this is why it might not be a good idea to jump out of a plane?
yeah, it's not a thing that is conducive to long life, is it?
Who thought that was a good idea? People are too bored. People are too bored.
Yeah, but then you look at things like cinnamon though. Do you know cinnamon comes from shaving down the bark of a tree?
Yeah. Okay.
Who looked at that and went, "You know what? I'm gonna powder this up and it's gonna be delicious in my hot chocolate."
I mean, what's that got to do with jumping down out of a plane, though? That's like you can stand on
I
the
don't know,
floor and just take a little whack of a tree and you'll get a bit of cinnamon. Then it doesn't require you
yeah,
to
but
come close to death.
who thought to do this in the first place? It's like cow milk. Who at some point was like, "You know what? I want a bit of that."
Yeah, I don't know.
I always wonder where all these things come from.
There was something weird we talked about the other day. Actually, me and Hassan were talking about it. There was a book that was written before. Was it 15 years before the Titanic went down? About a big tanker or a big cruise liner that hits an iceberg and goes down.
Mhm. Oh, wow.
So that was on Reddit. That was pretty weird.
Oh, forget that. The Simpsons have been predicting the future for like the last 20
Yeah, isn't there
years.
one of Trump in a casket?
Is there? No, there's one of Trump in a mall waving at people as a
Yeah, there's
president,
also one of him in a
which
casket,
is
which is he can't be very happy about.
that's a bit scary. And
Yeah,
there's loads of them. Like they predicted everything. Those guys. It's crazy. Like let's be real. Matt Groening is a time traveler, and we need to out
there's
him.
something a bit dodgy about that guy. We need to yeah, someone needs to put a tail
Yeah,
on him, see where he's off to, and what he's doing.
where he gets all his insider info from. There are way too many things that have come up in The Simpsons that have happened in real life. It was like Fox, Disney eventually buying Fox. Like that was in The Simpsons, and whoever thought that was going to happen 10 years ago or 20 years
Yeah, I
ago?
suppose. I mean, maybe well, it's a big company, is it? So maybe that's not the
Yeah,
most crazy and outlandish one. Is there is there a Simpsons episode where RCF makes 100K and you have to sell your PS5?
I hope not, but I feel like we're going to be seeing one soon. I
I
don't know.
may I
I think
may
we're
clip
going to get a lot of.
clip that up and just post it all over the place.
I hope not. I think there's going to be a lot of people that I know who will be putting in significantly more effort than usual to try and hit that 20K target because,
I think
yeah,
this is it. People didn't care enough about my hair being, me being bald to really push the boat
yeah.
out. Whereas we got a fair amount, 5.5 was it in the end? But we didn't quite get.
Yeah, we did really well for 24 hours is well, it's, and the thing is, whenever we do these drives, these projects, the dental community is always
Mm,
incredible. I can never, when we first started, I couldn't even imagine the support that we would get from just the dental professional community and the overall community as a whole. And each time it staggers me. It's amazing what everyone contributes. So I'm hoping again for Miles4Smiles that we get the same response again as usual. And I no doubt we will.
yeah.
But I'm hoping we maybe 19,950 of response.
So I'm according to my
It's a
weighing
good amount.
scale, I'm at 16.1% body fat. So I'm hoping to donate
Oh,
six
that's pretty good.
percent.
6% body fat in a month. That's a
I'm
lot.
hoping to donate 6% whilst not losing any actual weight.
Okay,
Let's see what
interesting.
happens. Um,
I think the most I've hit in a month is about 3% when I was training
I've never
hard
done a
with my
cut.
trainer.
Never done a cut in my life. No, because I
Really?
was really skinny when I started off at uni. If I am 172 pounds now, let me see what's that in kilograms. Quick maths here.
Yeah.
172 pounds to kilograms. So 78 kilograms. I was 61 kilograms. 134 when I went into uni. So I've gone
Hmm.
from 134 up to 172 in the last 10
Oh
years.
wow.
Um, so I've never actually done a cut,
This should be an interesting
which
one.
I'm a little bit worried about because there is a little bit of belly fat from residual from finals and starting working.
Yeah.
And I really should have done a bit more work during lockdown, but you know how things are. We only just got some weights in the house to actually use, and then motivation was up and down like a yo-yo. Um,
Oh yeah. We could have a little side challenge then.
yeah.
I'll see if I can keep up.
Have you got a number? Do you know where your percentage is at now?
But I'm not 100%, but I think I'm at about 21% on my body fat because I have a personal trainer who weighed it like about 2 weeks back
Bro,
and
you're
was around
engaged. Let's get you down to 8%
there. 8%.
for the honeymoon.
That's a big cut.
What's your actual weight right now? And how tall are you as well? We'll make this plan right
Uh,
here, right now.
this plan. I'm going to just give my detail to the nation. Is
Why
this
not?
what's
I
happening?
would just give it mine. I'm 5'8", 5'9", something like that. 172 pounds, 16.1% body fat, which is probably the highest I've ever been.
Yeah, and most importantly, ladies, single and looking. Oh,
You're gonna have
oh,
to impress me.
maybe. Looking for someone impressive. That's good. Yeah, so I mean, I'm currently about 70 kg at about 5'6". So I'm hoping to cut a few, and I've got about 4 weeks of cut left. So it's crunch
Okay,
time,
so I
literally.
reckon we should get you to about 72 kilograms and 8%, and that'll be
Eight
beautiful. Yeah,
percent. We're gonna lose 12% of me,
and add on 2 kilos.
and add on 2 kilos. I think that's probably maybe in next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's not so bad on my part is the last 8 weeks. Obviously, we've had now some gym equipment, minus the 2 weeks I had to take
Mm,
off with the shoulder issue. I'm up 10 pounds, and I don't look different, and that's a good
yeah,
thing because I've not got fatter, but I have got stronger. I've got a bit heavier.
yeah,
So
100%.
I'm hoping I'll get to a point where I can no longer eat enough that I'm gaining weight, and the fat drops off. So I'm doing a
Yeah.
reverse cut, if that makes sense. I'm planning to be
Yeah, yeah.
I'm planning to be about 8.
You're planning to bulk enough that you can burn enough calories to
So
then
like
cut.
my goal is here, and then what I'm hoping
Yeah,
is the body fat is here, and then my
yeah.
muscle will do a crossover with the body fat at some point. Well, one has to go down, one has to go up, doesn't it? I'm not doing this very well as
Nice.
a visual representation on the screen. So body fat will go down over time
Yeah.
after I've got to the weight. The weight. So I'm planning
Okay.
to eat for a certain weight, as though I'm
Yeah.
maintaining at 85, 86 kilograms. And then
Interesting.
I'll just continue to eat that same amount until I get there, and then the weights will get
Yeah.
me the muscle to recomp me up. It may be completely
Yeah.
insane, but let's see.
I reckon this could be a decent challenge. In December to see where we get up to.
Yeah,
We'll do some Insta posts and we're gonna see who can cut the
I
most on the body
I
fat.
absolutely don't want to drop below 170 pounds though. It's going to be an interesting one.
Well, you better be eating those chicken breasts and your boiled cabbage then.
Well, oh, there was a bit of an issue yesterday. I made a soup, or I don't know, maybe I
Oh
don't know.
yeah,
It's better described as a gruel or a slop.
cool.
I don't know. Essentially, I had the onion.
Yeah. So are you cooking for yourself for your diet then? Your
I'm
workout diet?
kind of. I'm a bit lazy, so sometimes I'm not. We're also um doing stuff for the rest of the family as well, so I'm kind of cooking for
Mm.
everyone when I'm cooking. So it's a bit more
Yeah.
difficult because I will happily eat chicken legs and broccoli and a little bit of rice for every single meal, and they won't.
Yeah.
So is
Like
the issue.
at the minute, I'm doing some meal preps, and I'm like half the week, and then you get bored of it, and then the other half the week I'm just eating pizza. So I'm like, what's the point?
Can't be eating pizza. That's You're deleting yourself.
Yeah, I know, but but the PS5 comes out, and you're sitting at home, and you're playing with your buddies,
Mm,
bit of Call of Duty, and you're tired after work, and I'm just making excuses now, haven't I?
yeah, well, I think I might win this challenge.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm motivated now. I've got a month. Like this Miles4Smiles. We need to get it. We need to smash it out. We're gonna get some cardio in, and I really struggle with my cardio as
Yes, I
well.
mean, I'm going to start off by walking. I think because
Yeah,
I have shin splints, and that was the issue that I was finding when I was doing running. Like I do have some
yeah,
shin tightness in the shins, which is what I was hoping to get sorted out with this yoga that I've been doing, which I've not actually posted videos of because I look pretty stupid. There's one where you're
mm,
on all fours,
yeah,
like a child, and then you have to put
yeah.
your foot, so you're right on the outside here.
Oh, that sounds like 3 weeks off work for me.
I actually managed it, but it wasn't comfortable. You do feel a bit looser
Yeah.
afterwards. It's really crazy. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I'm just gonna take that time to say I think dentists need to do a bit more yoga and stuff. Not all the like
But
and all that sort of stuff, but like
I've generally found since I've started training, putting some, especially on the back, like the shoulders and the back, it's helped my posture and and like I used to get significantly more back pain than I do
yeah,
now. I'm a lot stricter with myself about being seated and having good posture as well, and I think it's something that more dentists need to do. Is you got to look after yourself at work, because if you get in a habit of always standing up and slouching over and not using your mirrors correctly, your back will suffer, and it's something that a lot of dentists that I know do suffer with.
deadlifting. When I
Yeah.
was deadlifting consistently in uni, no back pain. Stopped, back pain came set in.
Mm,
One of the other parts was your anterior chain. If you loosen up on the front, which a lot of people do because we're sat down too much, then the back
yeah.
gets stretched and tightens, and that causes some back pain as well. So I should it's going to be a weird month. I'm going to be doing more exercise than anything really because I've got the Miles of
Yeah.
Smiles, which I'm thinking about as like I'll get up at 9 o'clock instead of 11, do a couple of hours of
Yeah.
walking or a little jog or something.
Mhm.
Then in the evening or afternoon before podcasts, I'm going to have to be doing some weights because I need to put on the muscle still.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, yeah.
before bed, so I'm doing yoga before bed for flexibility and improved sleep and stuff. But for all that, so it's actually going to be pretty intense because I've only started. I've done 3 days of yoga so far. I'm pretty early
Yeah.
on in it. So,
That's not. It sounds like you're going to be having a bit of a transformation month.
well, the diet is the main issue because you have to be really pretty on top of it, and that is not the case
You're
at the moment.
gonna have to get some of those shakes, the Huel, the meal in a shake.
Oh no, I don't like that. It's
It's so unsatisfying though. You just don't feel happy
it's
afterwards.
not good food either. Like I'm a strong believer in quality of meal giving quality gains. So if you're having crappy food, you get crappy gains. Like even if you are building, like you get poor quality. You get, I don't know, it's complete bro science maybe, but um
No, but it's true. But it's. Do you know what I noticed is during lockdown? Did you not notice that when you went, all of the crappy food like tin beans and instant noodles and beans was all off the shelves, and all the stuff that's going to boost your
fresh
immune
stuff,
system, make you more resistant, the fresh stuff was all there,
mushrooms,
right?
sprouts,
Got your
everything is high
fruits,
in
your
vitamin D.
mushrooms, your vegetables, all that stuff. That's there. But you want to get some packet of biscuits, some pasta. No, that's out the
In
window.
fact, saying that, I'm thinking what we may have to do is we may have to supplement ZMA for this month, zinc,
Yeah,
magnesium, ZMA, and maybe
yeah.
also some melatonin. So you're gonna need some
Melatonin,
good
zinc.
rest and good
Yeah, that's
sleep.
true.
So yeah, I'm
What about some BCAAs? You gonna get some of those in?
no, are they not just like expensive urine by the end of the day?
Well, you got to be taking them. They help with recovery,
I th-
apparently.
I I thought the
Depends on.
studies showed that it was a load of rubbish.
Is it?
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch the Jeff Nippard videos. Oh, got a comment.
Oh,
At Jabs, how much can you deadlift?
interesting.
You go first.
Me? How much
Yeah,
can I
let's go for
deadlift?
you first.
Let me think. The last session. I'm nowhere near you. I'm probably at about 70 kg.
Okay, so yeah, that's not too bad. Um, Yesterday or the day before, I did 110, which
Nice,
is
nice.
still pretty low down on what I used to do. Back at
Not too bad.
190 back in the day. Oh well.
Oof,
S-
oof. I think the one that always kills me is when we have to do squats.
Are you going high bar or low bar?
Oh, what do you mean? Like the position of the
Position
bar?
of the
Or?
bar on your back, so you can go high or low. Obviously, if you've got poor shoulder flexibility, you end up going quite high. But if you go a bit lower,
Yeah.
I always found that a bit nicer.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be low
Mm.
bar then.
They also have safety bar
I'll be.
squats. Have you seen them?
Yeah, but I feel like that's cheating.
I think you can be a bit more upright and take the pressure off your lower back though.
Yeah, but then you're not working your core as well, are you? And then you're probably not doing your true maximum because you
Mm.
have that support and that safety. So I don't know. I've always felt the ones where you have like the set bars and the machines instead of a freeway is always not quite as optimal. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I've never actually used it, but people seem to swear by it. So I don't know if there's something in there.
Really?
Yeah, I've not got one. It's more expenditure, which I don't know if can we can we can justify.
Yeah. So do you have a you've got a lot of equipment at your
Well,
house
we're
then, is
living at
it?
home. There's four boys, including my dad,
Yeah.
and we've all cancelled our gym membership. So we thought, well, we still need to exercise and stuff. So we've got some bits in, and you can do it really cheaply actually if you shop around. The most expensive thing is actually the plates. You can get
Yeah.
a bar for 50 odd quid. You can get racks for 50 quid all the way up to a grand, depending on what you look for. So ours was a
Mhm.
couple of hundred, nothing too crazy. And the weight's the most expensive thing, really. But it's doable.
No, makes sense. Yeah, it is. It is for
Mm.
sure. But and now apparently cardio is now part of both of our routines.
Unfortunately, yes.
It could be good for us. I think it could be the motivation that we need.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping whoever's watching, it could be the motivation that you guys need to get out of the house in December and do something good while you're at it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping we come back and just look like Rank Zane. Let's have a see. Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
Um,
But
Man. Oh wow, 2 hours. Should we call it a day there? And
yeah, let's do
ironically,
it.
I'm gonna go eat.
What's for dinner? I feel like you're gonna get a pizza
No,
now or
I'm
something.
lactose intolerant, so I'm having some chicken legs and some. I think we've got some
And
gravy. I think we've
rice.
got some gravy, maybe some veg. I don't know what we've got with it. So
That sounds
it's not
alright,
too
you know.
bad.
That's not too
Yeah.
bad. But yeah, so again, we're trying to raise some awareness for Miles4Smiles with Refugee Crisis Foundation. So anybody who's watching, if you're interested, drop me or Jabir a message, get involved. You can sign up on our Just Giving page as well if you look us up on
Yep.
Google. Just if you want to do it as a team or if you want to do it individually, or even if you want to just donate a little bit, or you want to get involved in one of our future projects. Those of you guys who don't know about Refugee Crisis Foundation, we're a charity that's set up in the UK. We provide welfare, medical, and dental aid to refugee camps around the world. We have the only fully functional dental clinic in the world's largest refugee camp in Bangladesh, and we do regular trips out there. Obviously, at the minute, it's not feasible due to
Yep.
COVID, but we have a large list of dental volunteers who keep in reserve, and we'll add you to our database whenever there's a trip upcoming. We'll let you know if you're free, if you're interested, get involved. Otherwise, click on the link. I'm sure Jabir
The
has
link in
probably
my bio
embedded
where
it.
you can
Yeah, click below and click that like button.
like, comment, subscribe, and
That's it.
and if over the course of Smiles,
Oh no,
no, let me start.
Miles
Let
for
me start
Smiles.
again. And
Yeah.
if over the course of Miles4Smiles we raise as a whole community £20,000, Ali from RCF, Dr. Ali Altaf, CEO of Ali Altaf's house, will
Yeah.
donate his PS5, which he's just got, and he's not very happy about it. But his PS5 will be donated if someone. What did we say? 5 grand?
Well, either if there's one somebody puts in 5 grand in a single
Yeah.
donation, or we hit 20,000 overall, I will auction off my PlayStation 5 and I will add the proceeds, all of the proceeds, not even what I paid for it, to to the total donation for this
The project.
project.
There we go, and I've clipped that bit up, so we've got it ready to go.
Oh no, my PlayStation is at
At
risk.
risk, guys. This has been Hot Pot Podcast featuring RCF, Dr. Ali Altaf, regular on the podcast. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Tomorrow we're going to be talking to a dental accountant, someone who might be able to help Ali out, work out how he can buy a new PS5. We're going to be asking him loads of questions, so make sure you join us at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, where a load of interesting bits and pieces are going to be talking about. And if you have questions, you can get them in as well. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and donate to RCF as well.
All right, thanks for having
All
me,
right,
Jabir.
thank you, man. See you
Take
later.
care.